Hi, welcome to Hot Topics Live podcast. I'm Kia, and this is your weekly reminder that you are incredible, amazing, and you deserve to have and live the best life possible. And this podcast, we talk about things that can help you do that. And we'll talk more about that at the end. Today, next to me, I have Matilda, my girl, the host of Coffee with Matilda, and also one of the amazing hosts of another little live podcast called Podcasters Unleashed. Hey, girl.
Hello, Kia. Hello, beautiful audience. How are you?
I'm actually really good today. I woke up feeling absolutely amazing. Amazing. How about you?
Yeah, I woke up nice, but not as amazing as you, I guess. I'm a little bit nervous this couple of days, but yeah, it's good. It's a good nervousness, maybe.
Hi, Teresa. Girl, we have to catch up. If you don't remember Teresa, she was just on an episode of Hot Topics Live a couple of episodes back. You can go to our YouTube channel. You can listen to the podcast in podcast form wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can go to our Facebook page and find her episode. That was a good one. We were talking a lot about self love, and I'm talking about self love in every form of self love and healing, as we like to do, if you get my drift. so but it was a great talk. Hi, Teresa. We have to catch up, sweetie. I want to know what's up with you. So Matilda, we have an incredible guest today.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
she's
love
one of
so much.
we love her so much. She's one of my favorite people in the entire world, in the entire universe. She's so special to me. She's like a little doll. She's tiny. She's a tiny woman. She's like a little doll. And when I was a little girl, right, they had these dolls that were life size. Did you ever see those? Matilda, like
No.
really giant dolls. Okay, so maybe I'm giving my age away. Okay, so they had these dolls that were like the same size of you if you were like 7 or 8. And to me, she
Wow.
reminds me of these dolls. I always wanted one, and now I have one. So
Oh,
she
very
is she is
nice.
the host of Unbreakable Life with Glory, where she talks about depression and anxiety and
Mhm,
PTSD to
mhm.
always make you feel better. And she does an amazing, amazing job of helping people through their trauma. And what a lot of people don't know about Gloria is that she was kidnapped in Colombia, right? And she was held in captivity for 3 months in the dark. Okay. Now, after that, she went on to create a successful empire and to work through those traumas and to heal those traumas. And
Mm.
now she helps other people do the same thing. I have goosebumps. I just love her so much. I'm going to bring her out. And today, this episode is about just talking stories, story time, sharing, trying to help each other with our stories and help everyone who's watching and listening with just real talk and just whatever comes up. So,
Exciting. I have a
should
lot
we
of
bring her on?
questions.
I bet they gave you questions already. If you're watching live and you have questions, don't hesitate to pop them on in and we will answer them as we go along. That's the beauty of watching this live. So I'm excited you're listening today, Teresa. This is my girl. So Gloria, welcome.
Hello, girls. Thank you to
Hello.
invite me here. I'm so happy. I'm honored what you just said about me. Like sometimes it's so hard for me to believe all that kind of stuff. But thank you to remind me that all the things I been done in my life.
Oh my God. I mean, it's incredible. And we do, right? We sometimes forget because we're so busy living us and always thinking about the next goal, the next thing, or what we're not doing that we think we should be doing, or maybe comparing ourselves to other people and what they're doing. We forget how much we've accomplished. I mean, whenever I come to your show and whenever you talk about me, Gloria, I always go, wow, that's me.
That's so sexy.
so so yeah, I think we have to remind each other sometimes of just how amazing that we're doing actually,
Yes.
you know We're in the grind of it. So, Gloria, you just had a birthday. Happy
Yes.
birthday.
Thank you. I just turned 50 years old.
Oh, girl,
Oh,
you look good.
wow. Happy
Face.
birthday, Gloria.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, that is half of a century.
Yes.
so,
Yes.
so that's quite a feat. Like, I feel like every day is a blessing. People don't, let's talk about getting older, because a lot
Yes.
of people have a stigma with it, and the way that society talks about aging is like youth is beauty. And especially as women, as you get older, then you're just sort of discarded. If you don't look young, if you don't, have all these things, and you don't compete with younger women, then there's no place in life for you. It almost feels like sometimes. What do you guys think about that? Hi, George.
Well, I'm gonna say my part. Like, I come from a Latino culture that is very hard on women. Now it's getting better, but in the time was I was growing up, in the generation before me, when you are 30 years old, you are completely old. Like, men in our culture start looking for younger women. So when you see that and you grow up watching that and hear that, it causes an impact on you growing up too. Like, it's self-conscious, like, oh, I'm getting older. I'm getting vieja, like we said in Espanol. And it affects a lot about just to hear and see that. And you can see a lot of women in my country that also, they are like desperate to do a lot of surgery in their faces to look young, because men, maybe now is being changing a lot, but men always look for a younger. And that's why, Colombia is one of the countries that they do a lot of plastic surgery, because women is always looking to look younger. And when I came to this country when I was 26 years old, I saw that here the culture is a little bit different, because here that they don't care. They care more about who you are. In some cases, of course, there are some men that they just only like younger women. But here, I see that the culture about aging is different, and I kind of like that when I came here. So now I feel like I'm aging more gracefully, more peaceful. That I don't need to run and do plastic surgery or put Botox in, or get in shape right away, because I'm getting older, and who's gonna look at me. So I'm glad that I'm here in this country because of that too. Because for me, I'm obsolete and very old in my country. Like I said again, times are changing. But when I was raising up, that was the stigma of older women.
See, it's different for my culture because, as you know, you hear the stereotypes. Sometimes stereotypes really work against you, but sometimes they can work in your favor because you hear things like black don't crack. And that
Right.
really works in my favor because there is kind of an expectation for black women to age in a beautiful way. And I expected it my entire life. I watched my mother do it. My sister is older, and she is quite beautiful. And but for me, I do like to maintain a youthful aesthetic. Why? Because I just like the way I look. And so I am all for doing anything that you want to. I'm one of those girls. And it's not because I'm worried that men are not going to like me. I think that's important that you like you. And I think if you like you, someone's always going to like you, right? The right person is going to like you. If they don't like you, then they're not the right person. So keep it moving, right? But if they, but if, as long as you like you will always find someone who will like you. For me, it's about what I like. And it took me a long time. I was really insecure when I was younger. I had such low self-esteem as a teenager that it took me a really long time to like the way I look. And I'm going to preserve that. That's my take on it. And Matilda, you are younger than us. I am just a few
Yes.
years
Yes,
younger
she's the
than
baby.
Gloria. So Matilda's the baby of this group. So what do
Right.
you think about growing older, Matilda?
I think Scary. It's scary because of the stigma that we think, oh, when you're older, no one will look at you. You're not sexy anymore because young girls will take over the position. But it was interesting to hear Gloria and how her culture is perceiving. And I'm going to tell you how maybe Iranian culture or Armenian culture they look at women. Ours is when you're married and you
Mm.
have children, you're kind of out of the like kind of no one wants to look at you anymore because
You're done.
you're done. And I think it affects for me, I always had a little bit of a weirdness about marriage. I still have a little bit of a weirdness of having a child because I feel like if that happens, I would feel like, okay, I'm not sexy anymore, or I won't be considered sexy. Of course, it's a wrong mentality, but it's something that um, we talk about it. The culture talks about it. For example, if a woman is dressed certain way and it's looking very good and sexy, and soon they say, "Oh, she has a child," and like kind of that sexiness goes away, which is very wrong. You look at a lot of Russian women; they have babies and they still look
Hmm.
very, very on top of their shape. And you're like, but how about these women? Because they take care of themselves a lot. American women, they take care of themselves.
It's
Or,
like 50-50.
but yeah, Armenians, they don't. And it's kind of strange because once you have a child, that becomes your identity. You're a mother. And they look at you, and and it's very interesting. You can't say something erotic about a married woman, married and mother. It's like a wrong thing to do. It's like
Wow.
you're
Oh.
doing something to someone's mother, or you're saying you're looking someone in a sexual way to someone's mother. So that motherhood becomes like a holy process, and then women become, yeah, it's strange. It's changing, but that's
It's
how
changing.
they look at it. And I hope I'm not gonna be caught up in that scenario too, because having children is beautiful, and being someone's mama is beautiful.
I think so too. Here, I think we're lucky in a way, like Gloria was saying, because it's changing. Like, for example, my son is 16, right? And he always tells me, all my friends say you're so hot, mom, right? So we have the concept of a MILF, if you know what
Yes.
mom I'd like to. And now it's even grandma I'd like to, like nowadays in the
Yeah.
United States, because I think more and more women, there's sort of a revolution around feeling about yourself good and taking care of your body and taking care of your appearance, and not for men per se, although that's a nice bonus. I mean, I do like it when men find me attractive. That's nice. That's not the only reason. It's so I find me attractive, and that most women are starting to feel along those lines of, I want to look good after I have my kids. I want to feel good, and I think when your kids are younger, it's a little bit harder, but as they get older, you can find that time. And as you hear more and more women saying, put yourself first, take that time. Even
Yes.
as a new mom, to have time for yourself and to feel good about yourself, and to dress up every day, even though you don't feel, you may not feel your sexiest, you may not feel like it because you're tired, because being a mom is so hard. But take I know I feel better when I take the time to, put my makeup on and put on a nice dress or whatever. It makes me even just feel better to look better, even when I'm tired. So I think that culture is sort of shifting here in the United States. And thank God, because I think it's important for us to still feel valuable, even as we're getting older.
Yes, but
Um,
let's go a little bit deeper than that. For
mhm.
example, I'm the older one here. I'm 50. Even I look in the mirror and I like what I see. It doesn't mean you subconscious mind is saying, "Oh my God, I'm getting older. My face is changing. The wrinkles are more. My
Mhm.
body around here is a little bit different like before. So there's a lot of stuff that you need to process going in through, from one age to another one. Like for example, the 40s. For me, the 40s is the most beautiful age. Now I'm going into the 50. I guess also is going to be beautiful, but also it's going to be completely different because there are coming like big, heavy changes that you're not used to. So you used to
Mhm.
look like so younger. Now you're not going to look that younger. Yes, there are plastic surgeons and stuff. Yes. But even that, there's a process, internal process that you're getting older.
It's true. I mean, it doesn't matter how, like, you are getting older, you are maturing, your mind is maturing, your
Yes.
body is maturing, the way you view the world is maturing. No matter how youthful you
Yes.
look or feel, there's a beauty in that. So Sasha made a comment earlier. I love Sasha's comments. We know that. For those of you listening to the podcast, Sasha said, the problem is more how people deal with what others think. You just have
Yes.
to be pragmatic and stoic. Time is part of life, and you have to accept it to live happy and agree with yourself. Now, I actually agree with that. I
Me too.
agree that you shouldn't really care what other people think. But this is part of societal conditioning. So it's actually a lot harder to do that than you might say. Like, it's easy to say don't care what people think, but it's really hard to put it in practice, right?
Yes.
But I do think acceptance is part of happiness. Like, as you accept that I'm getting older, what are you going to do about it? Every day is a gift. We are lucky to be alive. I have friends in my age group that have passed away already. And so I feel very lucky to have another day. Now, looking and feeling my best, I think, is important to that. So I don't have to accept that I need to be run down. I don't need have to accept that, my culture might say that I'm obsolete because I'm a wife and mother now. I don't have to accept that. I can do what I want to do. And although I do have to accept that I am getting older, and that's just the fact of life. So, how do we accept aging? That is a great question. And since you're the oldest, Gloria, I'm going to
Yes.
ask you to answer that one.
How to accept aging? Just say that instead of 50, I would say I'm 72 or 80. So people would say, "Oh, you're so young."
You look good.
You
You look
look good.
so good.
Well, accept the aging. Well, you don't have no choice. You have to accept it no matter what. You just have to embrace your beauty, embrace your age, embrace that, like Kia said, that you are alive and every day is a gift. And also, every time you see your face in the mirror and you see the wrinkles, you say, you know what? This is who I am. And also looking back for all the things that you've been through, all your journey, your path, that make you more richer inside and make you more value as a person. And I would say that's the way to accept it, that you're aging and say, wow, I'm a box of how you say, of journey, a box of um, a lot of stuff that you're going through in life, like a lot of knowledge and a lot of sabiduría, I would say in Espanol.
Interesting. Um, in my opinion, I think I mean, I'm not 20 anymore and I'm sad about it, but okay. I think once you live your life as what the age requires, and you do it so perfectly, if you have to be drunk and I don't know, partied a lot and then learn your process of it, and then you went enough parties that you get tired of parties. Now maybe you like dinner parties, then maybe later is maybe meditation you like, I don't know. I think if you enjoy your life to the fullest and do the things that that age requires you to do and do it fully, and then you get tired of it, and then you get ready for the next stage, and then maybe you'll be ready to
Yes.
have a child, and then once you have a child you'll be ready. You enjoy that process a lot. It has good parts, the easy days, happy days. It has difficult days as well. And I meet some people that they are grandparents, and then they say, oh, we're so happy that we are the grandparents now, because to have a child, it's a lot of work. But to have a grandchild, you just have those sweeter moments. You enjoy the sweeter moments because you know these difficult times come and go. You just take care of them, and it's just a different phase. And it's nice as well. I want to skip to having a children to a grandchild. I don't know how that's possible, but I'm like, oh, being a parent is so much work. So can we get to the grandparent part? Yeah, I think that's how I will like to think about youth, and but maybe it's not that easy that you know that you don't have your youth anymore. I don't know. Or me having a child would be very difficult because I would feel like, oh, now my culture gonna look at me as a mom, and then that's it. But where is the sensual Matilda that can be? And I also thought about it. And yesterday I had a discussion with someone too. It's in this chat too, Kaula. We had this discussion. I think you should just go and live in a place that, in that age of your time, the phase of your time, it's very balanced. For example, in New York, nobody cares if you're married and you're not married at 40, you have a child or you don't have a child, you're a woman, you're out and you're having fun with your friends. You can even go clubbing and it's all cool. But maybe in LA, if you're by at that time you're not married, you don't have children, and you're still going to clubs, is like situation is not that good. Or in different cultures, different countries, a 40-year-old woman is perceived in a different way. A 30 woman is perceived different way. I don't know. Maybe I just have to change my places according to my age and my phase.
I think only thing to change is oneself always. So it's your perspective. For me, I think it's a beautiful thing to age, but I like to look the way I look. So if I don't have a lot of wrinkles at this time, but I know that I will have them at some point perhaps. And if I don't want them, I'm going to do something about it. It just depends on how I feel at the time. As long as I'm not associating a negative um perspective on myself, like as long as I'm not diminishing myself in my own eyes, I'm doing the things that I find self-care. Right. So I'm always an advocate for, a lot of people don't like plastic women. I don't care. I'm like, do whatever you want to do. You want butt
Exactly.
implants, get your butt
Yes.
implants. If you want breast implants, get your breast implants. If you want to get Botox, if you want to dye your hair, if you don't want to do those things, it's good as long as you feel good about you. And to
Mm,
me, that's part of acceptance. That's part of aging gracefully. And I think part of aging gracefully is sharing your knowledge with women coming behind you, and helping them on their journey. So I would
yes.
say, you sexiness and sensuality and beauty does not end the moment you become a mom. In fact, I
Mm,
think just the virtue of, I've never felt sexier than pregnant. I felt very sexy pregnant. Okay. And so the process of becoming a mother, because we have the womb, because we're the holy grail, we are the portal of life, because we have that magic that we create life and grow life within us, makes us beautiful and sexy and special. The softness and the femininity that are part of our nature when we are not so much in our masculine, because we have to run a business or we have to run a household or we're in charge. When we can sit back into our beautiful feminine energy, no matter what age, that is a glorious thing of being a woman. I don't think a lot of us get to do that. Teresa made a really lovely comment, and she said, ladies, thank you for the multicultural perspectives of motherhood, aging, and societal expectations and views on physical appearance. Self love and acceptance and dropping into our feminine for ourselves, in my own perspective, is what can help us feel the sexiest. And like I
Yes.
said, I agree. I absolutely agree. And I know that Teresa agrees with me too. So, because she said it right here. so, so I think that aspect of aging is pretty interesting. So I guess my next question is, now that we're all getting a bit older, what do we feel about relationships and dating and transitioning through that aspect of our lives as we are getting older?
Well, in my case, I just, getting divorced, so I don't know nothing about dating yet. But I'm open. I'm open and see what happens. The age for me is not something that, oh, I'm 50. I'm not gonna be able to find someone. I never think that way. I always think I always gonna have someone or find someone that I match with me. But in the dating side, I'm very new. I need like to update.
You coach.
I need a coach to see what I need to do, what I have to say, what I don't, many stuff. I don't know when it's like, oh, let's cuddle, let's date, or how many days we have to go with this, or how many days you kiss, or that kind of stuff. I'm like old fashioned.
Gloria, I'm the opposite. I just came out of the dating zone, so I can give you fresh tips. I mean, Kia, are you free on dating or no?
So, as you know, I have been dating and I'm going to continue to do so. Nothing has stuck so far, but I think that's part of the process. And I'm going to share with you. Before I do that, let me put this comment up, but stay tuned because I am going to share with you
Uh-huh.
what I have learned so far from dating for almost a year. Okay, because as you know, if you've been watching Hot Topics Live, I am divorced. I have been single for 5 years. And I've loved every single minute of reclaiming my identity after marriage because so many of us make the mistake, listen to this part, Matilda, of losing who we are in our
Yes.
marriage and in our motherhood. And
Yes,
that is
totally.
a mistake. This is why we say the culture is shifting to self love, prioritizing yourself as a woman, as the goddess, taking care of yourself first because you cannot pour from an empty cup, which means you will not be the best wife or the best mother if you don't look within yourself and take care of you. Right.
Yes.
So, what happens is a lot of us, including myself, did that and lost yourself and your identity in your marriage and in motherhood. And now, coming out of that, as a funny story, I went to a 4th of July party and I was all dressed up. And when I got there, I was it's in a suburban neighborhood, where I live, and it was a bunch of moms with smaller kids, and they're all younger than me. I think I was the oldest person there, actually, and by a couple of years. And so they all said to me, "Oh my God, you look so nice! Like you're so dressed up." And I said, "That's because I'm divorced and my kids are big." And they all laughed, and it was the truth. It was funny because
Yes.
it was true. Right. I have the time now to like really invest in myself. My kids don't need me 24/7. I don't have a husband that needs me 24/7 or responsibilities. I have other responsibilities now running a household as a single mom, but I allow more time for myself to feel good and to feel sexy and to feel beautiful because sexiness comes from within, right? It comes inside out.
Yes.
So my advice there is not losing yourself in your marriage, staying on top of your fitness, staying on top of your beauty regimen, staying on top of buying yourself beautiful clothes. Sorry, Sasha. And, and keeping yourself looking sexy to you. And if you
Mm.
look sexy to you and you don't let yourself go, then your husband will continue to find you sexy and all of these things too, because it's a magnetic energy. So it's something you emanate and then it attracts back to you. And I like that George said, as a man, I don't mind aging. The only thing is to be able to get some hair back because I don't like to wear hats to protect it from the sun. Honey, you can wear sunblock, right?
Yeah.
I
Well,
like your problem.
I like bald men too. Like I like a good head of hair on
yes.
guys, but I really like bald men too. So I don't think that's a big problem of aging. I think you don't have any aging problems, George.
I don't think
You're
so.
good. You're good. You're all
Yeah.
right. Yes, a partner, a real man is very important in a woman's life if you want one. I did not want one for 5 years. I wanted to detox from men for, was in a very long-term relationship. So I took that time. And so what I've learned about dating as I've promised, tell you, is to connect with their energy when you're on the date and see how they make you feel. If somebody is dysregulating your nervous system, it's probably not a good fit for you. Ask a lot of questions. Don't make it like an interrogation, but ask important questions, like not how was your day, but like what does a committed relationship look like for you? Are you looking for a committed relationship? These are qualifying questions, and you ask them so that you can gauge what your level of interest is in a guy.
Yeah,
Don't
that's why I love to be a professional podcaster, so I can ask all the questions, and they're
I
gonna say,
know
"Oh, you
that
ask so much." Well, that's my job.
that's what I'm do. I'm a naturally curious person, right? And so you ask these qualifying questions because the most important thing about dating is trying to figure out if you like them, not if they like you. So it's these are qualifying questions. You need to assess their energy, see how they you feel when you are around them, and see how they answer your questions. Also, if you've made it to six to eight dates with a guy, it's time to see how you feel about moving forward with them. Do you want to be in a relationship with them or not? If not, this is a good point to let them know that, and to let them know what how you feel. And I personally don't like ending things in text. I think that's pretty weak. Okay?
Yes.
But it's common these days. So, and it's also common for ghosters. Okay? So, don't take it personally if someone ghosts you. Just realize it's them, not you, and you probably dodged a bullet. Right? And there's nothing that you can do wrong with the right guy. If it's the right guy, he's going to forgive a lot. So, because he likes you. And also, don't accept mixed signals. Mixed signals means inconsistency. And as a woman, we all should be valuing consistency in our partners. What else have I learned? I've learned a lot of stuff, right? And mixed signals is a no. If you're going to do anything like no contact, mean it. Be willing to really walk away. Don't use it as a manipulation tactic. And you do that when a guy's giving you mixed signals. If he's, you give him like another chance. If he doesn't get his act together and start to become more consistent after talking to him, because you have to set your boundaries, you have to be communicative, and then if things don't change, then you keep moving. And you have to be okay with that. There's a lot of people in the world. There's one for you, and you won't meet them if you don't put yourself out there. So you have to be open as well to meeting people. And those are the things I learned from dating for the last several months. And I take breaks too. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know how to deal with it. But I think it's fun for the most part. Just go out and have fun and feel beautiful. And it's nice to get treated nicely while you're out.
I have a comment or a question about Kaula's point. I think, yeah, having the right partner, where she's saying a partner, a real man, is very important for a woman's life. Ev- the right person is important. But then there is a lot of, the societies, in a way, a lot of societies, in America as well, that they constantly put women in a way that, oh, you need a man to be
Right.
happy.
Mm,
You
Yes.
mhm.
need to date. But honestly, that's not the case. I mean, I'm not saying the right partner is an amazing to have for women and for men. Lots of people even say you're not a man till you have a wife.
Mm,
You don't, or you have a long-term um, relationship with a woman, because a woman makes you a man. Just having private parts as a male doesn't automatically make you one. That the right woman will demand certain things from you, that your manhood can be in question, and then you realize, am I man enough to take care of her? Am I man
Yes.
enough to be valued enough to be in her life? And I think we a lot of women, they just want to get married because that's what the society is asking them. But why? In my
Yes.
culture, there was a lot of pressure from family, from my culture, that, oh, why you're not getting married? You're a woman of certain age. You should have children. Or if you're a woman older than 30, you don't have children and husband, you're not a valuable woman. That's some cultures they say that. And
Yes.
for me, I always had fights. I'm like, I'm living my life. I'm enjoying it. I'm meeting people. I'm going on dates. I'm learning. I'm experiencing. I'm traveling. I'm living in a whatever city I feel like it. I'm working a lot. This is an accomplishment. For my culture, that's not accomplishment. That's like, oh, you're wasting your life. But I think it's important to understand who you are and not allow, if marriage is something that you really love, or a long term relationship is something that you really love, you should go for it. Otherwise, you just need to understand who you are. And you don't understand who you are in a marriage, in long term relationship. You understand it when you're alone. You try different things, you try different foods, you travel wherever you want, you sleep till 4 a.m., you wake up at, I don't know, whenever. Then you understand who you are. Who is Matilda is at her single times.
I love that. That is why I
Yes.
spent the last 5 years single, rediscovering Kia,
Mm.
getting back to know Kia, and also deciding who the new version of Kia is post marriage, and with my kids growing older and less need of me. Who am I now? And you know what I found? I'm surprisingly a lot like pre-marriage Kia, like 20-year-old Kia. I'm a lot like my 22-year-old self.
Oh,
Still that girl. She's still in there. I still like to go out and party. I still like to have a good time. I'm very youthful for my age, which means I need to find a partner who is maturity wise older than me, but youthful in their activity level. And so it's an interesting thing. And since I have been married, so my identity, I think, is not in any of that. It's a different type of dating. And for us, we're not necessarily looking to get married, and feeling this pressure of, let me create a family, let me get married. I'm starting to get older. If I don't get married soon, like what, I'm not going to be doing something I should be doing in my life, quote unquote, which is just another part of your society's dictation of how you should be living your life, right?
mhm,
No, we're not on a timeline. Everybody's timeline is different. And there's no wrong timeline. Some people have kids later, some people have them earlier. It's what works for you. Just be with the right person. That's the most important thing, finding the right partner for all that before you have kids. For
Yes.
us now, for Gloria and myself, we're at a different stage of dating. We're going to
Yes.
be dating probably divorced men or men who have never been married before, right? And they're older. So that comes with like a lot of different dynamics
mhm,
of how to proceed in dating and what you're looking for. So maybe I want to get married again. I'd probably get married again, but that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. I'm not even necessarily looking for a very serious relationship because I'm still enjoying being with me.
Yeah,
What do you think, Gloria?
like in my case, I'm free, and I
Mhm.
expect to have another companionship, like another person that's gonna enjoy my life, also free. I don't want to deal with the ex. I don't want to deal that he still don't know what they want. I'm not gonna deal that he still have little kids and deal with a lot of bunch of shit. I'm not. I already over that. I already married many times, and I try many things. That now is gonna be another person that wants to enjoy life, enjoy the life with me together, and traveling, sharing, and be us, like the time of our lives, but with a lot of baggage and stuff. Of course, I'm gonna find, like Kia said, divorce. But I'm a little bit concerned if I find a man that never been married and never have kids. I will have a little concern about that
Well, I
because
mean, like there's a lot of reasons why, but I just dated a guy who'd never been married, right? He had a kid, but he's never been married. And I had a lot of trepidations about that because I was like, what the hell is wrong with him?
mhm,
But that's why you ask qualifying questions. I'm open to everyone. You never know what their story is, but it's interesting. That we'll say that was a pink flag, not necessarily a red flag for me. But it's interesting once you get to know people, maybe they just never met the right person. And so I don't want to put any preconceived notions on it, but I do take that into consideration. Cowlet has a disagreement. Well, she says, I
Yeah.
don't agree with you, Matilda, which I love. This is classic Podcasters Unleashed style, by the way. I don't agree with you, Matilda. Western society pushed women to be very successful and lonely. A lot of women at their late 30s quit their jobs because they do want to have kids and a good partner. Well, you know
I have
what?
something to say.
That
I
could be 50-50.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, because, go ahead, Matilda. You first. You first.
um, I don't know. I'm not talking about you have to work. For me, Matilda in her 20s was a very different person. If I was married in my 20s, I would be divorced now. If I had kids in my 20s, I don't know what kind of a mother I will be. Matilda in her 20s wasn't mature to have that kind of a responsibility. I know myself and I chose what's right for me. I didn't listen to my parents because if I listened to my parents or my society at 25, I would be having kids and husband. And now I don't know what I would have. I wouldn't be who I am now. I needed more time for my maturity. And the moment I met Sasha, I felt like I'm mature enough to make someone else's life as beautiful as I can make my own. That's why I'm choosing to be married with him. If I didn't have this maturity, I don't want to ruin someone else's life. For what?
Yes.
Because what my parents are telling me, because society is telling me I have to have a child at a certain age. I bring a child to this society. If I cannot be a good mother, if I don't have that maturity to give that love, that connection, that attentive attentiveness to that child, then what kind of a mother I can be? I like to at this age I'm choosing to be married and have a family life because I'm ready for it. Now, Kaula, maybe you're ready at age of 18 or at 20 or 25. Good for you. But Matilda was not ready. And what so my society, my culture, my family was pushing me to get married. You're not. A lot of people consider me an unaccomplished, broken woman because I'm not at this
God.
age, not with kids. I should have maybe 12-year-old child around me, and they call me an I'm old grandma.
Wow.
But it's okay. That's their perception of life. That's not
Yes.
mine. I'm living my life on my own terms. And this is my age that it's good for having a partner. And maybe in a 1 year or 2 year, I would like to have a child because I love Sasha and I want to have a human being that is between me and Sasha. I like that. Before, I wouldn't even want to consider being having a child. I don't have that motherly. I don't know. I don't have that.
Mm. What do you think, Gloria?
I agree with Matilda because I was the opposite. I got pregnant, I married, and then I got pregnant at 21 years old, and I was not the mother I should be. Like you said, the maturity. Yes, I did what I have to do. I
Mm.
do everything I suppose I have to do. But I know if I wait like you did, I probably will be a much, much better mother, much, much better decisions. I should never marry at the time I marry. I marry at 19.
Mm.
And then I marry again at 26. So it was like not me. That was not me. And I 100%, agree with Matilda. You get married when you feel you want to get married, when you feel that you can handle a marriage and you can handle also to have a kid. Because just to have a kid, to bring another human being miserable to this life because the mother didn't pay attention or the father was not there, I don't think it's like that's the way it should be.
Mm.
But yes, you should do when you feel it. It doesn't matter the age, when you feel it. In my case, I
Mhm.
did it very young. I don't regret it, but if I can turn the clock backwards, I will wait until maybe 30s to get married and have a child.
Well, I will tell you something. I was a wild girl. Okay, I was in the military. I was a wild girl in my 20s, and I wanted to party and have fun. And I knew that when I wanted to be a mom, I was going to be in it. And I raised my little brother already. So I knew a lot of responsibilities of parenting, and I knew how much work it was. And I helped my friends that were pregnant young with their babies when we were in the Navy. That was pretty common. So I knew that it was a lot of work. So I did get married young because that's part of the military culture. You often get married young, which I don't regret, but if I had to do over, I would not have done. Okay.
Exactly.
Second of second of all, I got married, or I had my child at 30. I felt ready at 30. I felt young enough and old enough at the same time when I had my first child, and I mostly gave up my wild ways. Um, I had a sitter sometimes, so I could just. I think it's important to be who you are and still have some fun, even as a
Yes.
mom, because it
Yes.
helps you to be a better mom. But for the most part, I was very in being a mother and doing that. And I was with my kid's dad and everything. Now, if I had it to do over, I don't think that I would have had a kid then or been with my kid's dad. I would have waited. And I think I had a lot of healing to do internally from traumas that I experienced both in the military and as a young girl growing up. And those traumas were unhealed and informed my decisions on who I selected as a partner. So if it was
Yes.
me, if I could change anything, I would have learned more about doing healing work and personal growth to heal those traumas and core wounds of my childhood before I picked my
Mm.
partner to have my children with.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably would
Yes.
still be married right now. That's just my opinion on it. But I do agree with Kaula in a way. I do think that, especially in our culture here in the United States, I was growing up in the 90s. Yes, I'm dating myself, but I love the 90s were awesome and had so much fun. But it was all about girl power, which is a good thing. But it was always also about being a strong woman and being the kind of woman. This is what was perpetuated in the media and movies and everything about being a strong woman who could work, and you could bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan, right? Like you could do everything. You were the superwoman. You took care of the family. You went to work. You were a top earner, and you did absolutely everything. And that is a shift that, yes, it's woman empowerment, but it also makes us go into our masculine energy and detracts from our normal feminine nature. It makes it all so much harder for us to get back to that. And
Yes.
feminine energy is what attracts true masculine energy.
Correct.
So it is also a hindrance. So I get what Kaula is saying as well. And I think that's what she was talking on behind on questions, because I was so intent on listening to you guys. So I think that's what she was saying, George, and ultimately you become lonelier because you're so in this mode of just working all the time and trying to climb the ladder of success, or you're not you're running everything, that you're not you are more lonely ultimately because you're not meeting the kind of men that you would really, you're probably meeting beta males. So, and that may not be your preference. Now, sometimes that works. If you're a woman in her masculine energy, meeting a man who's more in feminine energy can be a perfect dynamic for you. So, not to say that that doesn't always work. It's different for everybody. And Sasha made a really good comment also, which is success is not us social status or money. The most important things are not related to money. Or I think, what does that say? Oh wait, I missed something here. The most important thing are not
Uh,
related to money,
money, love, and
love,
friendship
friendship, time.
time.
You can't buy time. This is an illusion. Well, time is an illusion, honey. You need money to live, not to waste time for chimeric reasons, dreams, chimeric dreams. Okay, well, here's what I have to say about that. Time is an illusion. It is more valuable than money. So, um, that's the thing. So, if you choose to waste your time, that's your choice. But to me, I place a higher value on my time than money. Um, so that's what I have to say about that. It's a great comment.
But
as
all of
always.
us waste, all of us, we in one point in our life, we waste time.
I
We
enjoy to
waste
waste
time, we
time.
waste money, you know.
Yeah, I enjoy to waste time when I choose that that's how I want to spend my time. If I want to spend my whole day watching YouTube videos in bed, that's self care because I am working very hard a lot of times doing these podcasts, coaching at London Real Academy, taking care of my kids. So that is also a way I value my time is to waste it.
Also, wasting time for a lot of people means that you was in a bad relationship, and you can hear people, oh, I waste my time with this person. And what people don't realize is you need to be with that person to learn what you need to learn. You know, you was not
Yes.
wasting your time. You
No,
was learning.
lessons.
Maybe you wasted not to see what you need to learn.
Lessons, always lessons. Hey, Lindsay. Meeting beta males. That feels true for me. I'm late to the show. I have to listen and catch up. Girl, you missed a good one. You want to watch this one from the beginning. You will like it. So yeah, I think that it is all of that stuff is true. I think
Yeah.
all of that stuff is true. We even dating, every time I have a date or I even just talking to men that are single, I learn something.
Of course.
There's something to take away. So I think it's just being open to learning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if the society is only advertising women to not be in touch with themselves and to understand who they are, to value their own timeline. I think they do the same with men as well. So men don't talk
Yes.
about it because maybe they're not even sensitive to this subject, or it maybe doesn't take a lot from them, or maybe they're not very in tune in general as human beings. But they don't advertise men to be in tune who they are. They're not advertising men to choose the partner when they're ready. Actually, if anything, the society is advertising, oh, go out, have fun, meet a lot of
Yes.
girls, sleep with a lot of girls. I guess the manhood, you're man enough if you sleep with a lot of women. I don't understand this concept.
I don't
You have a
understand either.
private part and it functions, and you need to show that your private part functions by sleeping a lot. Uh, you're selling your soul, and how and where is teaching men and women doesn't matter. You have the same. You have the body as your temple. This is
Correct.
yours. You interacting with another human being with a bad energy or wrong energy, you're affecting your life. How come we're not teaching this to the society? I think what is missing in Western world or in Eastern world, doesn't matter, is the emphasis on you have to understand who you are. Men and women doesn't matter, just going after someone and hanging out with someone, even friends, you are taking away that precious moment of being with yourself alone to understand who the shit are you. Sorry for my language. Your good smell and bad smell, you have to understand it. Who is Matilda when she's alone? What does she like? Where inside her smells? Where is the problem? How can she fix certain things? How can she approach life in a different way? For that, you need to have the solitude. You need to be alone. And that's
Correct.
precious.
Yeah.
Matilda constantly dating to find a man doesn't solve any problem. Matilda has a lot of traumas. For God's sake, she needs to sit down and resolve that. Or the man that there is outside and constantly dating and having fun or getting married, they have traumas. They need to resolve it. Otherwise, they're gonna waste their life in a way. They're gonna ruin someone else's life, another
Yes.
woman's life. And a child that comes in will have a lot of problems that if this child is wise enough after 18 will go to therapy constantly. So why are we
Hmm.
advertising to find a partner constantly? Why we're not advertising be alone with yourself to fix yourself? Not fix yourself, to understand who you are, your good
Yes.
and bad, your glory, your shittiness. This is what if I have to change a part in society, is to have more solitude and to be alone, to go parties alone, to go to dinners alone, to the nice restaurants, dress up and go to dinners, dress up and go to movies, and date yourself first. Are you dateable? And then look for another husband and a wife, poor another person.
Right?
Oh,
Are
you
you
give me a good
dateable? I love
idea.
that.
I'm gonna go to a nice restaurant by myself alone to
I
celebrate
love
my birthday alone.
I
Yes.
love that. I think you should do it. I had the best. I will tell you, I had codependency issues growing up, right? Um, and I had to heal that. And one of the things I did for the first time ever last year for my birthday was I went on a trip. Not I've gone on trips by myself, but like I went to on a trip by myself and to an event by myself, because usually I go on a trip alone, but I meet up with people, right? This time I went to go see a piano concert by myself for 2 nights, and I had the best time. I met all sorts of new people that I would have never met because I would have been with a friend.
Mm.
We would have been engrossed in that conversation, and it would have just been us. And I have new friendships because I went out by myself, and I went to the bar by myself, and I went to the venue by myself, and I had such an incredible time meeting people. So I can't say enough how much I agree with that. Obviously you have to be safe and you have
Of
to
course.
exercise caution, but I agree. Go by yourself.
Yes.
Date yourself. Yes, Teresa Jane agrees too. Uh, there are not there are not near as many resources targeted for masculines to step into themselves as there are women way showing other women to step into their feminine. I agree with that. One of my favorite guests, and I think he's going to come back soon. His name is Brandon, and he is a men's coach. And what he does, if you haven't seen that episode, you can find it on our Facebook page. It is on the podcast. I uploaded it last month. And I think you can find that one on YouTube too. You have to look. But Brandon, he teaches men about healing their core wounds and personal growth and showing up as a healthy masculine, and how to find healthy feminines, because there's toxic masculine, toxic feminines out here too,
Yes.
running around unhealed and doing damage to people, because hurt people, and sometimes when you are unhealed you bleed all over the innocent, right?
Right.
So it is important, I think, to get to know yourself and love yourself. And I think it is as important for men to look at what's going on with them as they're getting older as well, and
I think
start to
I
do that healing work.
I think if you find a man doing that is so sexy, I would say, oh my God, where did this come from? Because you know that the guy is working in himself, and he will understand also your process. So I think that's the most sexy thing that a man can do, like go to retreats and go in try to heal themselves. That's beautiful.
I think it's important. And then there's more and more you see groups of men going into these men's groups, because you know what? A lot of times, guys, if they didn't grow up with a healthy male role model, they don't learn. This is what I learned from Brandon.
Yes.
They don't learn how to do those behaviors, how to have those behaviors. And then it perpetuates from generation to generation of toxic male role models teaching men how to not be men in the best way for themselves and the people they love. And so I just think it's really incredibly important for you, especially if you're married. A lot of our audience are men, first of all, a little bit more than 50%. And a lot of them are in divorced, or, maybe unhappily married. And I just want to encourage you to take a look within. There's no shame in doing self work. There's no shame on healing yourself and making yourself better, because then you can attract that woman and bring that good woman into your life. Because there's good women out here. I know I'm sitting here with two of them,
Oh,
and there's some
yes.
watching this episode right now who are thinking, where are the good men that are about something, that have integrity, that want to form relationships and just have fun and have a good time together and not make everything be so heavy and just enjoy life. We're out here. So and Linz, this is not inappropriate. I think this show is a platform to help everybody, and if this link will help people, then everybody should go to it and tell them you found out about it from Lindsay watching Hot Topics Live. So podcast. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Linz. Teresa says she follows him. Yeah, Teresa says she follows him.
Wow, I
So
see that.
yeah. So, anyways, I think that's really important. And thank you for sharing that. it's good to do the self work, male or female, because when you become the best version of you, you can attract a good match for that, right?
Yes.
And then life is enjoyable when you're with the right person. Things are not, you're going to have to work to understand each other's attachment styles and love languages and stuff like that, but it's easier. It's not such a struggle, and you find that you have much better communication, and you have much better days together. You have more happy days than you have miserable days, right? So I think that's really important, that when everyone's working on themselves and they are working to communicate and have a happy, safe, secure relationship, then it can last. And I think that's a lot of times with what's lacking in marriages, and why we see such a high divorce rate, and relationships not working out, because people don't take the time to do the work within. They get into relationships not knowing who they are, unhealed, not willing to do the work that it would take to make the relationship work, not communicating effectively, and maybe they just don't know. So it's good
they
to
they just
seek help.
they just jump from one relation to another one like a right away, and I did that mistake before in my life, and the worst thing, because you choose the same man with a different you choose the same man with a different name, because you're not
Hmm.
heal what you need to heal in that relationship. So this time I said, you know what, like Ikea have a long time being single, I'm gonna
Hmm.
be single for a long time, as but I'm also open. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna be like this and this. No, I'm open to love, but also I'm open, I need to be with myself first for
You're
a like,
open to you.
I'm open to me. There you go. I'm
I
open to
love that.
me.
Hi, baby. Thanks for tuning in, girl. Can't wait to have you on here. We're doing a special episode, by the way, on Tuesday. And so my girl, baby, is going to return, and we're going to talk about relationships and things of that nature. So she's doing coaching
Awesome.
in this regard. So we're going to talk about her new coaching offering, and we're going to talk about relationships and all that fun stuff. So that's Tuesday. It's a special episode. Thanks for tuning in, baby.
Baby.
Um, so, yeah, girls, I mean, this is real talk, because it's so important to, talk about this stuff and just help people to understand that you can have an amazing relationship. You can age beautifully and love yourself. You can have or do anything you want, but it all starts with you and your thoughts and what you're thinking and feeling, and the work you're willing to invest in you. What do you guys think?
Yes, I
Yeah, I
agree with
think
that too.
very agree. If I tell any woman younger than me or older than me, just understand who you are. Just understand what you need, because what you need is not what your parents need. It's not what your culture is telling, or the society that you're living is telling you. You need to be smart enough and love yourself enough. This is the key. Love yourself enough to understand what works for you, who you are, when is the right time for you. And being alone is beautiful. Not having a partner, actually, it's an honor. It's like you're just taking care of you. Who wants, who's better, what's better than that? Being in a relationship, it's a lot of work. I'm in a lot of work right now, not necessarily on me, but on the relationship. And for example, in my situation, Sasha as well, being in marriage is difficult work. It's a work. If you want to have a successful marriage, then take this time and be with yourself. This is the most important relationship you will have in your life. It's not with your kid, it's not with your parents, it's not with your loved one, it's with yourself. And if that relationship is not okay, no other relationship is not going to be okay. Maybe there are good temporary, but it's going to collapse. And when it collapses, it's going to be very difficult days coming up. So just enjoy
Yes,
you.
yes, 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 yes,
Mm,
Have
yes.
fun being alone. And
beautiful advice.
do things that a married woman cannot do. You guys can do things that when you were married you couldn't do, not because you didn't
Like
have
what? Like what,
time.
Matilda? Like what? You've been single over a long time. Tell us.
It's like you can plan a trip any second and go. I mean, Maybe you have to take care of your children's situation, but then you don't have obligation to answer anyone to say, okay, I have to do this for you, I have to do that for you. Or does this person, my partner, like this location? Do they like this hotel? This is the simplest one. You can eat whatever you want whenever you want. You can be on a diet, not on a diet. Just free. You're free.
And there's freedom in it. I mean, it's nice to have a partner, but it does require compromise, right? When you don't have a partner, you don't have to compromise. You just do whatever you want to do when you want to do it, you
And I
know?
think it's the best time when you're single to have to work on your relationship with yourself, because that's work as well. You need to put a lot of work there, heal your traumas. So next partner that comes, you will shine with that
Mhm.
person.
And
Oh,
it
yes.
works because you can manifest in or you can attract an amazing person in, but you won't be able to sustain
Mm.
it because you're not solid and secure within yourself. And that, I think, is a lot to do with self-concept and self-esteem and the work that you're talking about, Matilda, of being alone and knowing yourself and healing yourself and being really clear on what it is you will accept, what your boundaries are, what your standards are, and what you are looking for in a partnership. That way, when you come across that person, you don't get triggered by old wounds and old negative thought patterns and fuck it up. To be honest, like, 'cause that's what will happen, and you'll end up sad because you lost someone that you could have had a potential future with because you were unhealed or didn't know yourself or didn't do the work on yourself to be solid and secure in who you are. And I think that's really an important thing to know. Mhm.
Yes, it is.
So, girls, it has been an hour and 6 minutes. It's about that time where we wrap up the show. I want to tell everybody that tuned in today, thank you for participating and being such an amazing part of this episode. If you are interested in learning more about attachment styles and relationships, I had my girl, Coach Marta, on here last week. She did an amazing show. We had a great talk about attachment styles and how we connect in our relationships that can be healthy or toxic. That was last week's episode. You can find that on YouTube. You can find that on Facebook. It will come, it's upcoming on the podcast version. So stay tuned for it there. But there are other episodes. There's another episode from Marta that's on the podcast already, her first episode with Hot Topics Live podcast. And I want to say thank you so much to Gloria for being our guest. Happy
Thank you.
birthday to you, Goddess. You are amazing. You are gorgeous. I am
Thank you.
so excited to just share any time with you, any chance I get. And I love the work that you're doing on Unbreakable Life with Glory. So tell us, I know you have an upcoming episode. I know you have the podcast version and the live version also. So when can we watch?
Well, we can watch every Wednesday in the mornings in Espanol, in the afternoon. In the morning is at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. because it depends where the person location. Because sometimes we have like 1 or 2 hours difference, so it varies the time in the morning. And then in the afternoon is in English. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and I have all kind of guests like a mediums. They read the tarot, and they also talk about depression and anxiety. How tarot can also help you to heal. Constellation, family constellations. All kind of guests that you can imagine, holistic and holistic approach, because my mission is to see depression like it's the deepest sadness that you need sometimes to be in the darkness for you to be able to see the light. So that's my
Mm.
mission, to break that like that vision of like, shh, let's not talk about depression, or shh, let's she's anxiety, oh she's anxious, oh my gosh, she's too much. I want to break that like that kind of situation, and making like seeing more natural, that is normal to be sometimes not okay. That's natural to be unhappy sometimes, and it's natural to be sad sometimes. And The difference is how long you're gonna be like that. Are you gonna be there forever, for 6 months, for a year, 2 years, 3 years? How long you gonna be like this? But there's nothing like you can say is wrong for you to be sad. I think to be sad is a beautiful moment in your life that helps you to see what's going on inside of you and to recap your life and continue your journey.
Oh, it's beautiful.
This is beautiful, but it made me remind me of this quote from Khalil Gibran. I love him, and I bring this a lot. His book in The Prophet. He said, "When there is happiness, just know that the sadness is in the bedroom, is waiting for you." And
Yes.
when there is sadness, the happiness is there. And life is about this sadness and happiness. And you have to be proud if you're feeling sadness, because you have the capacity to understand happiness as well. And it's nice.
Well, you need to be sad to be happy. You need to be happy to know to be sad. It's like it's two opposite. You need, that you always gonna have, and we romanticize this for many many years that you have to repress that emotion. Is in my mission is you don't repress that. You go through them, embrace them, journey. When you are sad, there's the best artist comes out, the
Mhm.
best writers, the best musicals, the best of the best, because you are in the deepest side of you. That is beautiful too. Darkness is beautiful, because you be able to see the light.
It's beautiful.
Gloria, you're 50. You just had your birthday and you're single. How amazing is that?
Living her best life.
This is the time, Gloria.
This is the time,
How many years
yes.
you've been married?
I would say all my life, with different men, but all my life I've been married.
This is amazing. You're 50, you're starting a new decade, and you're single. I hope
Yes.
you're enjoying every second of it because, honey, you have your freedom and just love it.
Yes, I'm in that process, and then it's scary sometimes, but I'm getting used to be single.
I love
Nice.
it. I really do like it, and I'll tell you, there's a couple of dates that I was on, and actually on the dates I was going, "What am I doing?" Like, I'm not ready for this. I don't want to be in a relationship at all. What am I doing? Am I going to lead this guy on? So, but then I'm like, well, I mean, it just depends on the person and the type of relationship. But I would say enjoy your singleness. There's so much beauty in it. It's such a beautiful time to be single, and it's so, so much fun. So that's what I have to say, Gloria.
Gloria, can
Yes,
you travel to Armenia? Now that you're single, you can travel wherever you want.
yes, I can
It's my
travel. Yes, I can
wedding.
travel.
My wedding. Come with Kia to my wedding. It's in Armenia.
You should
And
go.
when
We
is
should
that?
go. September 1st.
Yes, it's gonna be fun.
I
No,
want to
I'm
go.
serious.
But we
Armenia,
need to
there's
go. We need to dress differently,
no,
because if
you
we
need
go
to.
too sexy, we're gonna have a problem.
No. Armenia, no, you don't have. You need to dress a lot because everything is too much there.
Oh, fancy.
So have
Oh,
Girl,
your
this is like
gown.
the dream of my life. What am I gonna do? I need a
yeah, we
shop.
should go. We should
I'm
go.
going. I'm trying to. As long as my
Armenia
kids
is
are not
about
starting school, I'm about that life.
Armenia is about drinking, dancing, and having fun. So
Thank you for the
Oh,
invitation. I'm gonna talk to Kia and see if we can plan it to go.
yes.
all of my
Oh,
favorite
so
things:
excited!
drinking, partying, having fun, and a spa day, and some shopping, and some
And good
sightseeing. And I'm
food.
super happy. Oh, and good food. First of all, I love Armenian food already. So we're
Very
about that
nice.
life. Okay. I want to drink wine.
And
Someone
single
invited
men
me to
and single
her
men.
family's vineyard too.
Yes.
Ah!
So lots of good things are happening in Armenia.
Yeah, time to get
Get
ready to
there
go.
by September 1st and you will enjoy it.
I'm gonna check on that. I have points in my American Express. I'm probably gonna use to go there.
And we can introduce you some Armenian man. Maybe the Armenian man can treat differently. You never know.
That's a very Tentación, una tentación muy grande.
Yeah, tempting. It's a tempting offer. It's very tempting. So, Gloria, I want to say thank you so much for being a guest on Hot Topics Live today. It's always fun when we get to have these kind of real talk chats because they go wherever they go and we talk on a lot of topics. And hopefully it helps someone out there. And it's always a pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you for being a
Thank you so
guest.
much for this
Thank
invitation.
you.
It's an honor to share the time with you both. I love you both, and it was awesome episode. We need to repeat this more often.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna do it again. Next time we're gonna talk about sex after 40. I don't know. I don't know if that's what we're talking about, but maybe. We'll see.
I already
Anyway.
forgot about it. What is that?
All right, well, maybe we should get some experience and then we'll talk about it. anyway, anyway, I'm gonna put you in the green room. As
All right.
always, if you can stay, I will say a
Yes,
proper goodbye after we wrap the
I
show.
will.
Otherwise, I understand. See you
Yes.
soon, my love.
Okay, my dear. Bye.
What a good episode. I love
She has
talking to
an
her. It's
amazing
fun.
energy.
I
Love it.
know, right? Like, I just can't get enough of her energy. It's incredible. And so, Matilda, I loved all your input on this episode today. You made some really, really good points. I think I'm going to clip them up and put them on TikTok. So, if you're not following me on TikTok, go follow me on TikTok at Creativity, just like my Instagram. It's the same. And I'll put that up here in a minute. But what's going on with Podcasters Unleashed? Tell me that.
Well, Podcaster Unleashed, we finished the season. Now we're off till August. I'm not sure the dates, but someday in between August, we will start with a new season.
Oh,
So now we're
outstanding.
on vacation. It's a vacation time for Podcasters Unleashed.
So everybody can catch up on your episodes by going to the Facebook page,
Yeah.
YouTube, and listening on the podcast.
Yes, and they can follow us on Instagram as well. We'll post when we're starting the new one, which day exactly.
Ah, so at Podcasters Unleashed on
Yeah.
Instagram. Nice. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it is here. You can follow all my pages at Creativity, at Hot Topics the Podcast, at the Female Veterans Podcast. My TikTok is the same at Creativity, so you can follow me there. I am now putting up little clips from Hot Topics Live because they are fun and good, and I think they can help people. They seem to be doing pretty good over there, so we're gonna keep doing that. And yes, you can both here and YouTube. Yes, yes, George, you are accurate. So thank you so much for watching. This has been your reminder that you're amazing. You deserve to be living your best life. And I hope you got some things from here, this episode today, that can help you to do that. Tune in next week. We're going to have more amazing conversations with more amazing people. I believe I have a therapist coming in next week. So we shall see. As long as she confirms and everything's good, she will be here. I have postponed the episode on psychedelics. It is coming up. We are going to talk about microdosing and how it can benefit you if you're interested in that in an upcoming episode. And we have a lot more cool topics coming up. And if you'd like to hear one in particular, send me a message on Instagram or on our Hot Topics Live Facebook page. DM us, and we will see what your topic is and find someone to talk to about it. So with that, that's a wrap. We love you guys, and I will see you next week on Tuesday and Thursday with special episodes for you. So see you soon.
Ciao.